Welcome back to the Sexytime podcast to all our listeners out there and now viewers since we have video. Woo-hoo. Today we have a very exciting guest. I'm not going to introduce her. You're going to do the introducing. But of course we're trying a new format where our guests are here in person and we think the energy is just so much better. There's dynamic. We can feel their aura and we get to ask more personal questions
if
where they're
awkward.
kind of naloloka. So we can't wait to share this episode with you guys. Ava, do the honors.
Okay, today our guest is very fierce. She's fabulous. And she just sashayed her way into our hearts on Drag Race Philippines Season 3. A true trailblazer in the drag and LGBTQ plus community, please welcome Myx Chanel.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, Sexytime podcast. Thank you for having me today.
Thanks for being here.
I'm so excited. I am a big fan of the Jellytime brand and I'm just so excited to be on the podcast finally. I've listened to a few episodes. I think you guys are doing great.
Thank you so much.
That means so much to hear from you because you have your own podcast.
Yes, I
Second
do.
Naman, right?
Yes. So we on the podcast, we talk about Drag Race, especially Drag Race Philippines because like it's such a local hit in the drag industry. But we also from time to time do talk about like life and working through life in therapy with me and Baus. Yeah.
Wow.
There's so many questions about that.
Okay, I'm gonna admit that I don't know much about like the drag race life and actually life outside that. Is it two separate things? Like when you are dressed in drag and you perform or you I guess go out and stuff like that, do you when you come home, when you remove everything, come home to a different person? How does that, involvement work? Is it two lives? What is that?
I guess it's kind of different for each and every queen because I think we all have like different lives outside of doing drag. I think for me, especially after having been on the show, I kind of think about it as like an artista life, like a you have your celebrity public figure self where you're ready to interact with fans. You always have to be nice when people approach you to ask for photos. You have to be very engaging, especially during the meet and greets at shows. But at home, I'm just like,
You're like,
No one talk to me.
At home, I like spending time with my boyfriend. I like going to the grocery and cooking and just doing very like domesticated stuff. Like I feel like that's what I do to ground myself now is to really focus on like creating a comfortable environment at home.
So it's like creating your little boundary outside.
Yes.
Does it ever intertwine? Like especially after joining the show, like does it ever become a problem now or no?
Not really a problem, but more like I'm trying to find the balance of because what I have noticed with the fandom, especially like the younger, like the Gen Z fandom now, they're very involved with like the personal lives of the queens. Yeah. Like if they see that you have a partner, they check out your partner sometimes and they're like, oh my God, you guys are such a cute couple. Yeah. People get invested in our personal lives. Yeah. And I think like that's such a good effect of Drag Race because they're invested not just to the queen, to like the performer, but to the actual person behind it. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, okay, how much of my life can I share and how much of it do I need to keep private for my own sanity?
Yeah. I really notice I just need to share. Like the fans of drag are obsessed with drag.
Yes, they are.
Like it's a different kind of obsession that I'm actually so amazed with.
Yeah. They have a very strong clout. You guys have an engaged audience.
Oh, I noticed that. So when my season was airing, I had to. I attended the Olivia Rodrigo concert and I had to do it in drag because I was doing it, doing something with UMG.
Yeah.
While I was walking around the Philippine Arena in drag, it was like crazy how many heads were turning and be like, oh my God, is that Myx from the show? It was very like flattering, but also like, I feel like there's going to be a security risk at any moment.
Yeah.
So
you
cool.
have like an amazing fan base who are really diehard. That's great. I mean, I think one of the things that you were talking about is there is a blurred line because they are die-hard fans.
Yes.
Gusto nilang malaman. Do you speak Tagalog? Syempre.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, gusto nilang malaman kung, what else is there in your life that I can, I guess, get to know. I guess it's also a con of being in the spotlight because you can't really block everything off, especially with social media.
They like it when we share about our personal lives, especially yung mga hobbies namin, interests namin. Kasi lalo yung pag meet and greets,
Yeah.
a lot of the times, they bring small gifts.
Yeah.
So they
Oh
like
my
paying
gosh, how
attention what kind of gifts you like. If you like scented candles, they're gonna give you scented candles. Sometimes it's specific scents if they know you like specific scents. Sometimes it's like syempre uso na yung mga Pop Mart, yung mga anik-anik, yung mga
Yeah.
collectibles. If they know you like a certain character, they will get that character for you. So in a way, it's like they really want to know you more than just what you present on stage.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like yun nga parang how much of it do I share and how much of it do I keep to myself and my family and my closest friends.
Yeah. So you could consider this drag being kind of like work. When you put it
Yes.
on, you're like, I'm going to work now.
Yes.
You kind of don't really do it for fun anymore.
Or is it fun?
Or it could have started as fun.
Yeah, it started out as fun, and the work that I do is very fun. But I also look at it as like work.
Okay.
Like it's a lot of fun work, but I try to draw the line of like if I don't have to do it, I'm not gonna do it because like I don't want to work when I don't have to work.
Yeah.
Of course, of
Tama,
course,
tama.
of course. Can I kind of take things back a little? I just kind of want to go back to your roots. Like, when did you first? First, what do you identify as? Sorry,
So I identify as non-binary.
I need.
what
that's
is
one
that?
thing I need
Sorry,
to know
I
about.
don't know what
Okay.
it
What
means.
does it mean? Yeah.
So we have just like a quick crash course. We have
Yeah.
something called SOGSC. So
Yes.
SO, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, and sexual characteristics.
Okay.
Sexual characteristics is what determines if you're born male or born female, or
Yeah.
sometimes it's intersex. And then gender identity is like what you see yourself as. For most typical people, it's like you were born with female sexual characteristics and you identify as female. And then for some people like trans women, they transition because in their minds and in their hearts, they'd rather identify as female even though they weren't born with the same characteristics. For me, it's like I don't see myself fitting into either traditional gender sense of gender. Like I
Okay.
don't see myself as strictly like male or masculine. I don't see myself strictly as feminine. Like especially when I'm out of drag, sometimes I like to be more comfortable, less flamboyant, or like just a bit more relaxed.
So, in terms of the way you represent yourself in clothing, would you say I'd see you like in a dress, or are you dressed up more like a?
Well, of course, when I'm in drag, it's all the like the
Yeah,
fabulous.
I mean,
yes.
outside of
But outside of drag, it's like I wear t-shirts and pants and shorts. But sometimes it's like maybe a nice feminine cut shirt. Sometimes
Okay.
it's like
Got
booty
it.
shorts.
Yeah.
It's like I like being super comfortable when I'm out of drag.
Yeah. So, but non-binary means your sexual preference, or I guess like how you feel.
How
Your-
I see myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't see myself as strictly male or strictly female.
So, what are your pronouns?
You can call me she, her when I'm in drag.
Okay.
I use they, them formally because I'm all for like using they, them singular.
Yeah.
But you can also call me he sometimes. For me, it's like I don't really care as long
Okay.
as you like appropriate it to what you see or how you perceive it and not parang huwag kang bastos. Huwag kang bastos about it.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not necessarily offensive to be like. Sometimes I have a hard time, like I don't want to offend and I don't know when to say she,
Yeah.
he. So cool. In drag, we call you she.
Yes.
So okay, going back to that, Myx,
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of understand your coming out story, like growing up. How was it like for you? Yeah.
Growing up, I was very like, I guess feminine. I was very soft. I wasn't like super like flamboyant out there. I was more like I'm just like a soft kind of quiet kid. And then in high school, of course, like I came from an all boys Catholic school, but my batch was this like anomaly batch of like out of 300 students, there were like 30 of us that were like out and proud queer
Really?
kids. Yeah, sobrang dami namin in that batch. So it was kind of easy to find myself in high school. And then I came out to my family before I graduated, before I entered college, with the encouragement of my sisters. Because my sisters, they knew and they were like, we want you to, like when you enter college, we want you to be out so that you can go and explore yourself.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, so
So
I came
nice
out
to have
my
sisters
I know,
like that.
yeah. I grew up with a lot of like strong female presence, which informs like everything that I do now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I came out to my mom, and she was in denial, and I can't fault her for that.
Yeah.
Kasi ako din naman, I took a few years to kind of like have everything sink in, to like fall into harmony
Or
with
to
myself.
accept, who you are. So what more, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Na parang, okay.
So I can't expect my mom to be like super open to it agad.
Yeah.
It took a few years, but after a while, she was the one that's like, there was this one specific, I think I was in like junior or senior year of college, that I was going to attend Pride that day, and then I had this like big rainbow flag in my room, as you know, as you would in your like young adult queer years.
Yeah.
And then I woke up, it wasn't there anymore, and then I was asking my mom about it, and she was like, "Oh, I ironed it for you. Happy Pride." That was
my
when
gosh, I got
know.
goosebumps.
Chills.
That was the day when I realized talaga na para okay na si mom about it. She's open to
Akala
it.
ko kasi she's gonna be like, I
Tore it
away.
out or something.
She was parang for a few years we had a lot of like private conversations of like, how do you really see yourself? Where do you see your future? Parang ganon. Like the concerns that a parent would about the child coming out queer, especially since my mom, she's in her 60s now.
Sorry.
And like she, in her generation, it wasn't like how it is now. It wasn't as open as it is now, and she saw a lot of her friends. She has some like queer friends also, and she saw a lot of them kind of like be restricted with the life that they were able to access, especially after their education. So I understand her concerns, but yeah, eventually she did turn around to it, and now we're able to like talk openly about each other's love lives.
I love you, Mom. She's
I know.
so cute.
She's so
I
sweet.
love that.
I wanted to ask, just to digress a bit, what would your advice be to somebody listening who has a child who's queer or who is... Because I know a few people who came out to their parents, and the mom and the dad were in denial. And parang it caused a strain in their relationship. Parang di na sila nagkakwento, or it's hard for the child now to open up. They have crippling anxiety. What can you say to a parent that's struggling to accept their child's sexuality, basically?
If you're confused, I'm sure your kid was too at some point. So rather than like reject the new information, if it confuses you, if like you're not sure about it, embrace that confusion, like sit with that and process it, and then maybe like try to educate yourself how to understand your child better, because it is kind of natural to be confused. Because I think with most queer people, we all go through that confusion of ano ba talaga ako?
Yeah.
Like we all go through that period of asking ourselves. So it's normal for parents to feel confused also when they're faced with this new information. And I'm sure parents naman, they notice signs, like as their kids grow up, they notice signs, but you don't want to entertain that because you don't want to like be dictating of your child, diba? So if you're confused, just embrace that confusion and let that confusion bring you to better educating yourself, to better understand your child.
I love your answer, because
Same.
it's true. Like the person must have been also struggling, and it takes time to get to a point where it's like, oh, actually, I don't think this is who I am. I think I like, let's say, the same sex. You know what I mean? And then come out. First of all, we were talked about this before. Coming out already, there was this, I don't know if you saw this commercial na parang, do straight people come out? Do they have to tell their parents na I like, I like this other person? You don't have to, right? So it's just so ironic and funny that now people have to come out. It's like, ano bang pake mo sa who I like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know, society dictates that, or what?
I mean, you just kind of feel like you need to.
Yeah, especially the older generation, where it's
Yeah.
like such a shame. Oh my gosh, if your child is queer, whatever, and then what?
The funniest thing about the queer experience is you never just come out once.
Really,
Like
it's
you
multiple
always
times.
have to, especially when you, for those that are more like yung closet, like straight passing. We have the term straight passing. But if you look like a straight person, there's always that constant process of, hey, at some point I have to tell this person that, oh, by the way, I'm queer. That's why there's a lot of people that kind of use being overtly flamboyant, like rainbow everything. There are people, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think queer people naturally go through that phase as kind of like a defense mechanism na parang, so para hindi ko na siya pag-usapan, pakita ko na sa'yo ngayon pa lang.
No questions asked.
Okay,
Alam mo na.
okay.
But yeah, it's a constant thing of like, I remember when I was fresh grad, that was whenever I applied for jobs, that was a thing na parang, okay, when I step in for my interviews, they're gonna finally find out. Like, even though I'm not going to be sitting there and be like, hey, I'm gay. You can see by the way that I look when I step into interviews.
Yeah.
So
Interviews
it's like job interviews.
Job interviews. Okay.
Yeah, so like
Job
whenever you
interviews.
meet someone new, it's kind of like you're always kind of tiptoeing around that new
That's
information.
something I wanted to know more about. So yeah, it's good that for you.
You
to
know,
explain
did you
that.
you guys watch that the show Monster, where it's about the Menendez brothers, and then there was this guy who played one of the Menendez brothers, where
Yeah.
he's like
Lyle or
Lyle, not the other one. Who's the other one? Eric.
yeah, Eric or Lyle.
Okay, he's more flamboyant and he's kind of like openly gay as an actor. And he was saying in an interview na parang somebody told him that he would never get leading roles because he's too not actually, the word wasn't flamboyant, it was like too effeminate. Like he acts, very yung pinapakita, yung he has his hand gestures and things like that. And then they were saying that in Hollywood, like, that's not gonna fly. And then he did the Menendez
Cool,
brothers,
I didn't
and
know
his
that.
career is, booming now. But to the point is, there is that discrimination at work where it's
Yeah.
like, if you're too Becky or if you're too
Uh-oh.
soft, baka they won't,
Yeah, exactly.
hire you for certain things. Depends, ha. Pero in showbiz, there's so many that are celebrated.
Which I love.
Yeah,
too,
which is great. Like
yeah.
when I was working in GMA and ABS, like our bosses and all of these things were very flamboyant.
I feel like in
And
corporate,
the producers,
it could be
at corporate, it's a
different.
bit more
Yeah.
structured, I guess. Parang you have to be more stiff.
Yeah,
Ganun.
parang you have to present yourself a certain way first.
yeah.
And then, ayun nga, parang, just circling back, it's like, for a lot of queer people, whether or not it's verbal or, you give like visual cues of your orientation, it's like you always have to come out whenever you meet someone new.
Okay.
It's like you're introducing this person to...
Like you have to have a name tag.
Yeah,
Ganun.
it's like,
This
hi,
is me,
by the
I'm
way, I'm
X,
gay.
I'm
Yeah.
this. By
How
the
about
way.
in dating? How is it like for you?
Well, I think now, especially with, I'm kind of like in the cusp of millennials and Gen Z. So
Yeah.
I grew up with my older siblings who are all millennials. And
Okay.
I'm technically Gen Z, so it's kind of weird sometimes. But especially now with this younger generation, they're more like open about their sexualities. And I
Yeah,
think they're
yeah.
more open to like not being one or the other. I think there's a lot more space now for like being bisexual or being
Yeah.
pan or being fluid or what have you. Also in terms of presenting yourself, I think there's a lot more there's a lot more options and avenues now for dating, especially
Yeah.
online. Like
dating apps. What
Yes.
dating apps would you use?
Find Myx Chanel there. You have a boyfriend now.
Yeah, I'm no longer single. I'm off the
but
market.
you were.
I was on Tinder, I was on Bumble, I was on Grindr, the notorious gay one.
Of course. We all love
There's the notorious gay one.
Yes.
So how is that? It's just like, I guess, all the gays are
to hook
there.
up,
I don't know,
diba?
I'm-
Yeah, it's more of hooking up because it's like, because Tinder and Bumble, diba, you have to match with someone.
Yeah.
On Grindr, you're just like available to chat with everyone around your area.
Yeah.
Like everyone that comes into your grid.
for a bouquet.
Alam
yeah,
mo
just
na.
like tap and then you message and then like send pic
Tumawa.
and then para okay, go.
You know what? I will say that's a huge difference with the gays. They're very direct.
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Is that appropriate to say?
And, yeah, I mean, in
Kasi
terms
parang,
of dating.
Parang, okay, tara na. Gusto mo na? Okay, tara na. My
Oo.
friends were making me kwento. Even, the people
Yeah,
we
yeah,
work
yeah.
with.
Mas ano,
direct.
I like it.
Totoo
Whereas
naman,
girls
mas
are like,
mas
pakipot.
kakaiba sa mga bakla yung pag may nagpapaligaw pa. Yung mga pag may traditional,
Yeah.
medyo weird din sa mga gays.
Gina-judge pala yung ganon.
I mean, totoo
I
lang.
love
Kasi
it.
parang it's always like, okay, message, kahit nga online, like, if you find each other on Twitter or Instagram, parang,
Yeah.
hey, I think you're cute, ganyan.
Yeah.
Tas-
Booking na kaagad.
Oo.
Yes, I had the experience just like last week. I met a makeup artist who he saw this cute guy in the like green field or something and just went up to him and was like, he messaged him directly and then they started talking. I'm like, wow, I wish it was that easy for girls. But yun nga, may
Direct,
pakipot factor.
yeah.
Oo, mas onti yung sa mga bakla, mas onti yung gusto ng traditionally may ligawan pa, yung may like parang let's save it for later kind of thing.
Okay, so I want to get into naman asking you about like your journey when you got into Drag Race. What were you doing before that?
I was a graphic artist for an advertising agency.
Oh my God, we love
Oh my
graphic
gosh.
artists.
We love the creatives.
We love snaps for the creatives.
Yes.
Okay, so do you still do that or no?
Not anymore. I think drag has taken up too much of my
Okay.
mental space.
So full time,
Yes.
that's what you're doing. Oh Wow. So your career really shifted, no?
Yeah. So I started doing drag actually during the pandemic, and I was still working at that time. Still had a full-time job, but sa gabi, as they like to say, I would join like online competitions. I would do online shows. And then when things shifted into when bars started opening up, me and Baus, we went from producing a podcast to producing viewing parties.
Wow.
Like to watch the latest episode of Drag Race together.
Yeah.
And then we would hire other queens to perform at the show so that we can introduce, we can use kind of. At that time, we didn't have Drag Race Philippines yet. So we used the international franchise, the clout that the international franchise has.
Yeah.
Pull people in with that. Like, hey, let's watch this episode together, as kind of like a disguise of, hey, these are amazing local talent that you need to watch out for.
Yeah. Question. Might be a stupid question, but did you do that to earn money, or was it just your passion? Just for people listening, parang ano ba to? Do you have to have funds to create a viewing party, start a podcast? Because all of that costs resources and time. Or did you just do it because, okay, tapos na ako with my, na-submit ko na deliverables ko, eto naman for fun?
Yeah. If anyone's out there planning to get into drag to make money, don't do it. Like
that's good advice.
It's really not. Like, it's not something that you're going to enjoy doing if you're doing it planning to like get rich out of it.
Yeah.
If you want to make a career out of it, like, yeah, baby steps, sure. But if you're really, as in yung mindset mo talaga, gusto kong kumita ng pera, magdadrag ako. It's the wrong thing to enter, because as much as, especially now, like clout from the show, so we get a lot of gigs, and we get brand deals also. It's more lucrative now, but when I was starting, it was like I had to spend so much of my own money that I was making from my full-time job into drag before I made a single cent out of doing drag.
So you kind of like invested in yourself, but because passion mo yun.
Yes, exactly.
It's not with the idea na parang kikita ako later on with this. Actually, you didn't really know that you were gonna be so big in drag.
I just wanted to do it. Like, I wanted to perform because I also did theater in college, and it kind of became like my creative outlet to do drag after graduating. So that's how it started, and then like I never anticipated it to be like this whole big thing.
I think though that's a lot of how success comes about, when people are just passionate about a project and they are just continue doing it even if for the love. Right? Na they're not earning from it.
They're
and
using
it's just,
their own money.
And then you just have this crazy fan base. You follow the fandom also, and you see how people are become so loyal to you. So amazing. Congratulations.
And that's what you have to go back to yung pagmamahal mo sa ginagawa mo. Yun yung babalik-balikan mo kasi girl, it's not an easy job. Like, it's very difficult. It's like, think about it as being like being a celebrity, diba? But you're your own glam team. You have to do everything yourself.
So
like you.
She's stressed. She's
I'm
stressed.
like, huh?
She's stressed.
Yes, you have
I
to
had
do
to
your
do
own
my own
hair,
makeup
your
now.
own makeup.
Hindi
Think
ko
of your own outfits. Think of the song, perform, and then
Be great.
That sounds like content creation. I'm getting anxiety.
Anxiety.
it's that, but you're one person.
Yeah.
And you have to do all of that by yourself. So it gets really difficult, and it can also get creatively draining. So if you don't start out doing it because you love it, you're gonna end up hating it and wanting to quit.
Yeah.
I need to ask because we watched the Drag Race. I'm a big fan. In the office and Jelly Time, we have like days where we just watch. Can you tell me, are there people that who are you closest to in the season, and two, who are you least close to, and are you friends with Maxi?
Oh
my God.
Sorry, I need to ask.
At this point in time, it has been a full calendar year since we filmed the show.
Okay, yeah.
Before coming into the show, I was already very close with Tita Baby and Jay Quinn.
Oh, I love them.
Like I consider them chosen family. But getting on the show, I became quite close to Versex. And then recently, me and Udipota. Yeah, me and Udipota. I was hesitating kasi di ko alam kung pwedeng sabihin niya yung full name. But yeah, I became really close to Udipota because
that's what my eye always says kasi she's probably
because we have kind of like the same attitude when it comes to work.
Yeah.
Now when we're at work, it's like work, but then we also just love to chill.
Wait, question before you answer that. How do I come up with my own drag name?
Yeah, let's think.
No, kasi my stripper name would be Our First pet's name plus
Our first street that we live in. So
that
that's
we live in.
the same for us.
yeah.
I mean, technically it could work because as a drag queen, especially like in my case, sometimes you're also kind of like a stripper as a drag queen.
So my drag queen name
Ours is
Negrita Brie.
Oh my
mine
God.
is ours is Brutus Briones.
You're Brutus. Ako Negrita.
Oh my
That's my pet's name. No, okay.
let's
No,
not
I'm
do
gonna
that
think
for
of my
you.
own
Think of
drag
a name.
drag
Maybe
name. 'Cause
Myx can help us
I'm
get
liking this
names
like
for us.
Yodiputa thing.
Yeah, it's very different. Sometimes it's like a pun of your like real name. Sometimes it's a pun of a thing that you
Isabellotta.
love.
Belafta ka na, belafta.
Like for my case, I loved Myx the Music Channel growing
my
up.
God,
That's
we
where I
all-
got my drag name.
Late mo naman, you didn't know that?
No, I do. But
okay.
I mean, it's just,
No.
it's just like I
Yeah,
just want to know how people like develop it. Like, eto na yung, parang ano siya, you know, when you're growing up and you put like a screen name.
Tell us yours.
Ava's email was crazy, sexy, cool.
No, that was Jess. Mine was Erika Shing. Tell them yours. Hers was Belafta because she's now the goddess of laughter.
Laughter.
Baduy.
Anyway, I'm
that
baduy,
can
baduy.
work. I mean,
Hayaan mo
it's
na.
short, it's sweet, it's catchy, it's memorable.
I'm so sorry. that
Like
you
I
have
think
to go
that's
through this.
the best like best rule for your drag name just has to be like short and sweet and memorable.
Yeah.
If people have to struggle remembering your drag name because it's just like convoluted pun of something.
It's too hard.
Yeah.
I won't be able to sleep at night thinking of my drag name.
Yeah, let's think of it tonight.
Yeah.
Let's
Anyways, okay, let's
Okay,
talk
go
about
back.
something more
No,
serious.
wait.
Okay, serious.
answer
Okay,
my
are you friends
question.
with?
Yeah, we were great friends actually. Like we
Were
were. No, I'm
past
sorry.
tense.
No, we are great friends. We were great friends while filming. We were great friends after. We are still great friends
Maxi?
now. Yeah, it's just what people don't. I think medyo hindi pa to as common knowledge the Philippine fandom as it is to like
Dito nyo lang maririnig
international-
to, guys.
Hindi naman siya scoop,
It's
pero
exclusive,
a
the
lot
buzz.
of especially for people that are watching Drag Race for the first time with Drag Race Philippines, you are locked into a hotel room by yourself. So think like you're going through 8 to 12, sometimes 14-hour filming days, and then you go to your hotel room alone. You're not allowed to talk to each other.
Can you
And
get
then
a
the next
masahista?
morning, no. You have
concerned.
no phones.
Oh my God.
You're not
No
even
phone?
allowed. You're not even allowed books.
Ano to, jury duty? Bakit ganon?
It's glamorous prison.
it's like the O.J. Simpson trial. They're not allowed to.
It's glam prison.
That's insane.
Yeah, you don't have a lot. You don't have entertainment. You don't have TV. You don't have your phones. You don't have internet. So you go to film. You go to your hotel room. You get stir crazy alone by
What
yourself.
do you do? What do you do in your room then? Lay down in bed?
I was journaling and I was basically live tweeting in my journal.
Oh my God.
Like, girl,
That's
I was treating my journal like it was Twitter, like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
brain
Putting your
dumping.
thoughts
how
I'm like,
long?
oh, I'm hungry. For like when you're essentially when you're not filming, you're in the hotel room. So you film 8 to 12-hour filming days, and then right after you go to your hotel room, you rest for the rest of the day. You go to sleep. You wake up in the morning. You're back on set
How long
Why?
was the
Why do you
filming?
have to do that?
I need to
for a month.
Because it's a competition.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And basically parang so you don't get an advantage of di ka pwede magpadala ng anything, you don't get to buy additional anything, you don't look for
You come in with what you use, what you what
you have to come in prepared. You're not even allowed to do like research for a certain character that you want to do down the line in the season. You're not
Ang
allowed to do
hirap ng
any of
ganon
that.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. It's like
So,
shocking. To
You
find out.
guys they should speak more about that.
Yeah, so it's kind of intense. So you can just imagine how like emotionally and mentally insane everyone kind of gets, especially as the episodes go on,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
locked in. So in the moment when emotions get heated, nagkaroon lang kami ng parang
Sagutan.
understanding with each other. Like buong cast, kaming girls na parang dito lang yan. In the
Got
moment
it.
lang yan.
Ah, okay.
Can
Unspoken?
you hang out with them, the girls?
Yeah, we do. We hang out a lot because we work together a lot now. Like we get booked together as a cast or like
Tama,
as like a small subgroup of the cast a lot of the time. So we do see each other quite often.
And when you get booked, what do you guys do normally? Like a show?
Yeah, we perform. We do our own numbers. Sometimes we're asked to do like the group numbers from the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we still work together
Amazing.
often, and we have like a really good relationship still. Kasi basically we all came to an understanding na we are binabaliw tayo dito. Pag nagkakainitan tayo ng ulo, in the moment lang yon, walang samaan ng loob.
Yeah.
And it's like it's reality TV.
Yes.
You have to kind
Dapat
of...
may ganon.
And the production pushes and prods your
Yeah.
emotions. Sometimes they ask questions that they know
Alam
can
na.
trigger
Stir you.
certain emotions. So may mga ganon.
Do you have a manager?
Yeah,
for, like,
I
what, for
do.
booking? Or is it gonna be for the whole cast or just specific?
I think it's different for everyone. Some girls like to manage themselves.
Yeah.
I have a handler, Maxi, and like for example, si Precious. They're all under the same management also. But some of the girls they like managing their own careers by
And
themselves.
this is like it all falls under entertainment.
Yes.
Obviously. Amazing. I'm so like impressed that you guys have just from I guess creative. You're still in the
A
creative.
hobby.
You're
Yes.
still in the creative aspect, but it just takes I guess your whole life now.
No.
Yeah. Did you know that Rajo's Rajo's a
Yes.
host?
Oh my
And-
gosh, he was so thrilled when he got it. We were so excited.
The
when he-
controversial. No,
Yeah,
I love
why was it
Zara.
controversial?
There was a controversial episode where he... Can you explain what
Yeah.
happened?
Back in season 1, my drag mother Eva Liquino was on the first season. They had to do a design challenge.
Yeah.
And usually the design challenge is on Drag Race. So not like Project Runway
Yeah.
where they give you like yards and yards of fabric and trimmings. They give you sometimes literal garbage, literal trash. Like
Yeah.
for example, for my season, we had to pick stuff out of like actual
Trash,
Like madumi
garbage.
talaga. Mabaho or no?
Hindi naman. But I
Medj.
think
But ano naman siya, like, hindi naman siya like food waste or anything, but
Okay.
like,
Malaloka kung
discarded,
it's like
discarded
Jollibee.
things. And for that design challenge, Raho did not like Eva's garment that she made, and he called her trash. Like, you look like trash.
Oh my God.
This is trash is the quote.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And then she's like, but it is, yeah. I agree. Trash talaga to.
But yeah, I think in the heat of the moment, especially with the living conditions
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
show,
yeah.
it really affected her emotionally.
They need to start the show with that disclaimer. Like, by the way, all contestants are living in a box right now.
But no, I will say that I'm sure that was also the intention of people producing it. Kasi it stirs reactions from people.
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword of reality television. Like, yeah, sisikat ka for you and your personality.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like,
Is it worth it or?
it's a triggered version of you.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Wait, sorry. Just kwentuhan lang since nandito naman tayo. No, have you seen America's Next Top Model with Tyra Banks?
Yes.
Of course.
Diba? We grew up on that show, and if you put that show now with all the Gen Z and woke, that would
She
not
would be cancelled.
She would be
And
cancelled.
also, like, at least with America's Next Top Model, you see the girls' living situation.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
how intense it can get in the house.
Yeah.
It's like Pinoy
But
Big
the way
Brother
Tyra then used to say, like, parang, how do you feel like being an parang what did you say?
Overweight,
Overweight
whatever.
model.
Yeah,
The girl's
oh my
like
God, girl.
super skinny. You're like, huh?
Wait, I
Diba?
want to ask, in reality TV, is there any part that's ever scripted?
No.
Or maybe guided?
Guided, yes. Like sometimes they ask you and then their instruction is if we ask you a question, you have to answer it as if you weren't asked the question.
Okay.
So
okay.
you're
To
like,
make it-
what do you feel about so and so? So you have to answer like, when I did so and so, I felt like this.
okay. Just so that there's
Yeah.
continuity, like when they talk.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that as well also in terms of the footage, you look like you're randomly bringing it up yourself.
Got it.
Yeah. But I will say this, being as somebody who had a reality show, I don't know if you forgot.
I was like, wait, what?
It Girls on Entertainment. They do. You have to come up with your own story. Para din, meron kang interesting, juicy
So
na
you mean
something that happened.
Come
so
up
parang,
with controversy.
doesn't have to even be controversy. It can be like, what's your storyline?
Yeah.
What is something interesting that you can talk
Controversy
about
is the
it?
best story.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you like kind of fight, they're like, sige, let's build up on that. But like you said, after that, it's like, oh, okay, we're friends now.
Yeah.
Minsan it's just to hype it up.
Did you
Yeah.
have strategy going into Drag Race? Like, did you be like, I'm just gonna be wallflower and not get into the fights, or I'm gonna stand out and know? What are you thinking?
My since I do have a podcast that recaps Drag Race, I came in thinking na, I've studied this show. I'm
know
ready.
it.
I prepared everything. I took every class that I could in the amount
I'm
of
a
time we were
master,
given to prepare. And then when I came in, it's like, this is not how I expected it
Oh
to
my
be.
God.
It's both
rude
times,
awakening.
It's both times everything that you expect from the show, but at the same time, when you're actually there and you're actually going through the lived experience of it, it's completely different. Like what they show on the episodes, that actually happened, but there's a lot that gets cut out, and then the added factor of you're away from everyone you love. You have zero access to like all of your people that you ask for advice or all of the people that you ask for reassurance from. You get none of that.
When you said you're away from everyone you love, I automatically thought of my phone.
Right?
Babaw, my phone.
Like you can't even message your best friend and be like, oh my God, I had such a bad day today. Like, what do you think I should do for that? You can't do that.
Or just kind of like
I'm so proud of you
decompress
guys.
in a different way. Diba?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you have a crazy work day, you just want to call someone and vent.
Super.
Sometimes you don't even get to decompress before you shoot the next episode.
Yeah. So would you ever want to come back for like Drag Race All Stars?
I would love to, but I don't think immediately is the right time for me.
Yeah.
Like I want to give myself time and space to grow as a person and as an artist.
Yeah.
Like if I ever come back on All Stars, I want it to be like a completely different iteration, like a brand new version, like a
But
2.0.
Myx Chanel.
An evolved Myx Chanel.
Yes.
Wait, do you do therapy? Because parang you're very ano.
I do.
You do. I
love-
therapy
I can
girlies.
recognize people who do therapy. It's like just the way they talk and it's very much with intention.
Wow, what a ride so far. Myx has taken us through her coming out journey, building her drag persona, and stepping into the spotlight on Drag Race Philippines. But the story doesn't end there. In part 2, we dive into something even deeper. Myx opens up about her HIV diagnosis, how she shared it on national TV, and the powerful advocacy work she's doing today. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.